All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there. September 19th, we got a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That's where you'll find all of my final plays. So I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. In terms of yesterday, not exactly the best day. We go 2 and 4. Our only plays cashing being the Guardians and Tigers Nerfy, and then Jorge Polanco over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. The rest, yikes. Blue Jays, Rays, that doesn't come through. The Athletics, Red Sox, under, nope. Moises Ballesteros, nope. And then the Marlins and Rockies, first 3 under. You guessed it, nope. Hopefully do a little bit better today. We're still, I believe, 13 and 6 in our last, or 13 and 7 in our last 20 plays. That looks good and sounds good, but realistically, we're on the 9-1 run. So the last couple of days, we definitely want to kind of turn things around here. We did have a really good Thursday night football, so that makes me feel a little bit better about last night. But let's go ahead and dive into this slate, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get rocking here. We got the Tigers taking on Atlanta. Charlie Morton on the bump for the Tigers. He's going up against Bryce Elder. So we sniffed out Bryce Elder's regression last time out, right? He had been pitching really, really well. Then against Houston, he went 4 1/3, 6 earned, 10 hits. He did have 7 strikeouts, though. Now, Charlie Morton, we've been kind of cold on in the last month or two, and rightfully so. He's not exactly pitching all that phenomenally, and what I will say is looks like this Braves team hits the curveball very well. Now they hit lefty curves better than righty curves, I'll mention that, but the #1 team in terms of runs above average when it comes to the curveball. If you know anything about Charlie Morton, that's the pitch he throws. So I do kind of like the idea of the Braves for plus money today, simply for that reason. But I don't mind someone telling me that there could be some runs in this one, because Bryce Elder, again, not exactly the biggest a fan of his. And he was due for some regression, and he regressed. I expect him to be kind of like typical Bryce Elder now. So, yeah, I don't mind the Braves in the spot again for plus money. That total at 9. If you can get it at 8.5, it's obviously a hell of a lot better. But that's what I'm looking at in this game. I also want to mention that this Braves team's been playing really good baseball. In terms of their offense. Right now they had a decent series offensively against Washington, and they've been looking decent. Decent series, they've been looking decent. Wow, brain busting there. But the flip side is Detroit has only won 3 of their last 10 games. So I think one team's moving in the right direction as of right now. All right, next up we have the Reds taking on the Cubs. Nick Lodolo on the bump for the Reds here. Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs. This was a 1-0 win, Hunter Green complete game shutout for the Reds yesterday. So good for him. Today, Nick Lodolo obviously is a good pitcher, but he's really been really good on the road this year. Not so much at home, but he is a lefty, and he's very good against righties. And both of those things should be pretty damn good in terms of situational speaking against this Cubs squad. So I expect this to be somewhat of a low-scoring game. You have Shota Imanaga on the other side of things, who's going to use that splitter and that fastball and slider. That should be a decent pitch mix. I like the Cubs in this one, but I also really, and I think I like it more than a side, the under 8.5 and or that first 5 under 4.5. So in terms of Lodolo, yeah, I guess I get a little bit worried about him because at home this year, he's only hit the under in 36% of games in that first 5 when at home. But Shota Imanaga on the road, 83% of his starts this year. So that's obviously very, very good. You could also probably convince me of a first 3 if you wanted to look at under 2.5. Shota Imanaga on the road this season, 67% of those games have been good. Lodolo at home, 45. So he's a little bit better there. But I think that first 5, again, minus 115 right now, seems like the spot to consider. But again, I do like the Cubs in somewhat of a bounce back spot. This Reds offense has been very, very inconsistent. Shota Imanaga is obviously a very, very good pitcher. And throw in the fact that, well, yes, you do have a Cubs offense that, scored 0 runs yesterday. They had been giving you like bare minimum 4 runs for a while. So I think, like I said yesterday, and we did have that wrong because I kind of like the Cubs yesterday too, the small ball-esque type play where, yeah, even if Lodolo's pitching well, the Cubs can only smack it around a little bit and score when they need to. But again, I don't think they're going to absolutely go off or anything like that. Like, I like that first 5 under probably more than anything we talked about. All right, guys, I wanted to take a break for a second to talk to you about DraftKings Pick 6 and their amazing new customer deal that's going on. If you use the link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment right now, you'll get a deal unlocked that is a play $5, get $50 instantly in bonus picks. All you have to do on DraftKings Pick 6 is pick more or less based on player set projections. It's really, really fun. I've been enjoying it myself, so check it out. Again, that link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Play $5 and get $50 unlocked instantly in bonus picks. Go ahead and check it out. That is DraftKings Pick 6. Next up, we have the Pirates taking on the A's. Mitch Keller on the bump for the Pirates. On the mound for the Athletics is going to be Luis Severino, who it's obviously very important to note. He is on the road. He's been a lot better on the road this year. Mitch Keller has started to turn things around and point them in the right direction. So I guess we can give him some credit, but he doesn't have the best of numbers against this Athletic squad. I like the A's here. Now, the issue is that, well, they're playing really good baseball, right? They've won, I believe it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've won 6 of the last 7 games. The problem is they're flying back cross country, no day off here. Actually, no, they're going to Pittsburgh, so it's not fully cross country, but they are going from, the Red Sox to the Pirates, and the Pirates had the day off, and they're just waiting there. They played their last series at home against the Cubs. So, yes, the Athletics don't have to go all the way back to Sacramento in a sense, but they're still traveling, no day off. Pittsburgh's been waiting. That worries me just the littlest bit, but for the price tag, Athletics right now, I think with a decent enough pitcher, and I'm not a big Severino guy, but if there's a time to back him, it's when he is, at home, or on the road, and this offense can play really well. Like we've seen that, right? So I don't know if we get there in terms of a final play, but yeah, if I had to, it'd be Athletics or their team total over. That's what I'd be looking at here. But again, don't know if we get there because that situation of them having to travel and Pittsburgh got the day off and is already at home, that matters to me. All right, this one's really difficult. We have Baltimore taking on the Yankees. On the mound for Baltimore is Trevor Rogers, which is the thing that's kind of making this difficult, right? He has been phenomenal this season. On the year, he's got a 1.4 ERA with a .69 or .89 whip, and the last 5 starts, he has a 1 flat ERA. He's been looking really, really good, pitching deep into games as well. So yeah, it's a little tough to sit here and be like, oh, the Yankees are obviously the better team, right? They have Will Warren on the bump, who realistically has fallen off to some degree. I mean, he started the season very good, and I guess he was okay, but every now and then he hits these speed bumps, and it seems like the speed bumps last a little while. And it could have been the start of a speed bump when he played the Red Sox last time out. 5 innings pitched, 6 earned on 10 hits, 2 strikeouts as well. So yeah, I do think that I trust the Yankees offense. I mean, I hate to think that Rogers is going to regress at all here because he really has been a pitcher that people thought was going to regress, and then he hasn't. But the way that I look at this, and guys, I could be crazy for it because Rogers has been that good. The way I look at this is the fact that you are getting such a discount on what I would consider the by far better offense in the Yankees, okay? So yeah, I lean in that direction. I don't know if I can fade Rogers and get there and put my own bread on it. I don't mind the over 8.5 because what if the Yankees get a little bit off of Rogers? Then we have 2 bullpens that are bad, and you have, Will Warren, who's definitely susceptible to giving up some runs to this Baltimore squad. So 8.5 is also something that I'm considering. The problem here is, again, Trevor Rogers throws a whole wrench into anything. He could go out there and pitch 6 innings, 1-run baseball, and it's like, wow, we got this thing all backwards simply because of the starting pitcher. Mets taking on the Nationals, 2 young pitchers. In this one, Brandon Sproat on the mound for this Mets squad. He's going up against Alvarez, Andrew Alvarez for Washington. So Alvarez has 3 starts under his belt. They've looked all right. Sproat, 2 starts under his belt. They've looked all right. I think this one is simple, just because, and simple in the sense of like, don't spend too much time on it. Minus 207 here. I guess I would just say Mets is a parlay piece. Their offense is still the team that I trust, or the thing that I trust more in this game. I don't think minus 207 is all that valuable. In fact, even in a parlay, it's not all that valuable. But when it comes, push comes to shove, I do think that you have 2 young pitchers. I think one of these offenses is kind of locked in right now. Now you look at a few of their games, it's like, okay, they scored 2 against Texas and 3 against Texas. But realistically, in that series against San Diego and the back half of that Texas series, things were okay, right? So I think that this Mets team has the better offensive talent going up against a young pitcher, and the same thing on the flip side, vice versa. But I trust the fact that, this young pitcher can pitch well against the Nationals lineup that struggles. So didn't spend too much time on this one just because the odds are already juiced through the moon. All right, should be a good one here. We got Tampa Bay taking on the Red Sox. On the mound for the Rays is going to be Drew Rasmussen. Obviously, one of, if not the best that they have to offer. And then on the Red Sox side of things, I almost said the Celtics side of things. On the Red Sox side of things, the best the Red Sox have to offer in Garrett Crochet. So obviously a good matchup here between the pitchers. I like the Red Sox in this spot simply because of the pricing. I mean, you don't often get Garrett Crochet in the minus 120s. I still think this Red Sox offense is better than what we've probably seen, in the last 2 weeks, right, ever since that Yankee series. So I guess we could probably say week. And Tampa Bay still not very consistent. Now I will give them credit where it's due. Those last couple games against the Jays, they showed that they can kind of hang with them, right? So yeah, I'll give them a little bit of credit, but ultimately I don't necessarily think that this offense is anything too special, and we have very, very similar pitch mixes between these two pitchers. In fact, via our MLB dashboard, which, guys, you can find at GuyBostonSports.com, head to the members area, check this out. These look so eerily similar, right, in terms of the pitch mix, but how about this? Fastball and cutter, right? Okay, well, looks like the Red Sox can hit those pretty damn well. Fastball and cutter from Crochet, throw in the sinker, throw in the slider. All of a sudden, yeah, it's just the fastball they hit well. Cutter, Rays can't hit. Sinker, Rays can't hit. Slider, Rays can't hit. So for two reasons, I like Crochet, obviously, but I don't think you get that price very often. And then the pitch mixes kind of sell me on this one. So yes, I'm a Red Sox fan. FYI, I got to disclose that. I don't think this is all that biased of a play. Bullpen should be okay. Red Sox only pitched Weissert in I guess technically totally yesterday too, right? But the Rays pitched a bunch of guys, so even a bullpen advantage of the Red Sox. Say what you want about the bullpen talent, they're less taxed. So yeah, give me the Red Sox in the spot. I also say the nerfing, that's simply put, I like Rasmussen a lot and I like Crochet a lot. Yes, the tops of these orders could be a little dicey, but still, I think both pitchers kind of have an upper hand, at least for the first 6 outs of the game. Lot of home dogs today, huh? We got the White Sox. Big plus money at home against the Padres. Dylan Cease on the bump for the Padres, ex-White Sox, going up against Davis Martin. Now this one, I'll sound the psycho alert alarm because I get that it could be a little bit crazy, right? I'm going to lean White Sox here as well as their team total over. Now, if we use our dashboard yet again, you could see this. The slider is going to be Dylan Cease's main pitch. This is a White Sox team that's actually hitting the slider really, really well right now, and the meat of that order hits the slider pretty damn well. Flip it over to Davis Martin is going to throw the fastball and the cutter as his 2 main pitches. 2 pitches that San Diego's really, really struggling with within the last 30 days. So I sounded the psycho alert alarm. I know that this below my head is kind of crazy because this Padres team is the better squad. But their offense has been a little dicey. Now, I'll give you the credit that it seems like when they see righties or righties like this, they hit righties a little bit better than lefties. Davis Martin is a righty, so sure. But still, for a minus 200 price tag, I don't think the Padres have the easiest day today. It is Davis Martin, anything can happen. But the fastball cutter combo is enough for me to be like, yeah, I don't know if I love them at that price. Like, even with the Mets, we said, oh, that's a parlay piece. I wouldn't really touch this with a 10-foot pole. So, again, I'll sound the psycho alert alarm again. I get that this is crazy, but the fact that that slider is Cease's go-to pitch and the White Sox coincidentally are good at hitting the slider right now, it's enough to get me to that side for a big plus number. Now we'll just see if I have the cojones to drop them on the table and actually roll with it. Another road dog, Kansas City taking on Toronto. Here on the mound for Kansas City is going to be Michael Lorenzen. He's going up against Max Scherzer on the Toronto side of things. This Kansas City team loses 2 of 3 against Seattle. They lost the series against Philadelphia. They lost the series against Cleveland. Not all that good of a look for them, right? Especially when, you flash back, I don't even know how long, but they were kind of in a little bit of a playoff hunt in terms of the wild card. Definitely not so much now, but nonetheless, on the other side of things, you do have Toronto, who's still leading the AL East there. They're coming off of a split series against Tampa Bay, but they lost the last 2 games, scoring just 1 run in 0 runs. I like the idea of Tampa Bay's offense kind of getting them back on track here. And they have Max Scherzer, who I do like. I mean, he's kind of been a little dicey, but he'll throw a lot of fastballs and a lot of sliders. I think those are 2 good pitches that should work for him here. He's seen this Royals roster a ton. 117 plate appearances against in his career. He's got a 19.7% K rate, 4.3% walk rate, an average against of 211. The expected batting average against gets even better at 181, a WOBA of 283, expected WOBA down at 252. So I think he should be able to pitch fairly well today. But if you don't trust Scherzer, then yeah, maybe we just look in the direction of a Toronto Toronto team total over there. But I think it's a good bounce back spot for them. I don't think you're going to get a really good team at the minus 120 price that we're looking at very often, right? But because they lose 2 straight games, because they're traveling, that's kind of the situation that we're in. Rangers taking on the Marlins. Rangers heavy favorites here, total at 8.5. On the bump, we have Tyler Mahle, who's coming back. I think the last time he started was, geez, when would that have been? We just had it up in front of us. He was on the IL here, and his last start looks like it was back in mid-ish, early-ish June, okay? Going up against Jansen Junk, who has been fairly consistent, giving you, 5 innings of 3 earned, which I think could gonna hurt you in this Texas spot, because Texas was playing really, really good baseball, and they dropped 4 straight games. I know it's a lot of juice, but the only thing that I'd really consider would be Texas here, or their team total over. I don't mind them getting to Junk, even if he throws a slider a ton. He throws the fastball just as much, and Texas hits his fastball well, and they hit righties really, really well, right? And you throw in the fact that we're going to get a bunch of fastballs from Mahle, who this Miami team is 5th worst at hitting the fastball. So yes, right then and there should be a good enough spot to be able to back Texas. We'll see if we like that price tag, but I think I have the batting advantage, the pitching advantage, and the bullpen advantage in my back pocket here. You also have a squad that is coming off of getting swept in kind of like a series that probably hurts. That was a big series for playoff standings and whatnot, and they got swept by the Astros. So hopefully this team's a little fired up, because I think that could be a final play today. I just want to get a better number than the minus 164. If we can get this, below that, it's probably a go. Twins taking on the Guardians. Pablo Lopez going up against Logan Allen here. Lopez is going to throw a lot of fastballs and a lot of changeups. He'll also throw the slider. The slider this Cleveland team actually is okay against. Okay at best, though. The fastball dead last in the league, runs above average. Changeup 25th. So I do like Pablo Lopez in this spot. I do like him a lot. I think that he's enough to get me to the Twins. You throw in the fact that Logan Allen is good against lefties. In fact, he has some really good numbers against lefties, but he's really struggled against righties this year. 282 average against, a 519 expected FIP, a whip of 1.53. There's a bunch of righties in this lineup today. I believe we're going to see 8 righties, 7 or 8 righties in this lineup. That was tough, high numbers there. So he struggles against righties. There's going to be 7 or 8, including the switch hitter, Brooks Lee. So give me the, give me the Twins in this spot. I don't mind their team total over, but I also have noted here Cleveland team total under. I think this could be a nice little Pablo Lopez spot ultimately too, just with his pitch mix. If his slider gets hit, then sure, that's the thing that I'm worried about. But that changeup and fastball combo could be really, really deadly today against this squad. So yeah, I like the idea of Pablo. I've also seen, I believe, Parker Messick's name throw out there. If he's the starter, then I would probably still lean towards the Twins, but depending if it's Logan Allen or Parker Messick, it's not going to really change my play. So just FYI there. All right, another good one here. This Houston team just getting banged at the end, with these tough matchups in instrumental matchups. Now Houston takes the lead in the division. They are a game up, I want to say, or are they tied? They might even be tied. So both teams technically in the wild card, both teams at the top of the AL West there. I think that they are tied. In fact, let's pull this up. Boom, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, 84 and 69, they're both here. So how crazy is the fact that we now have this as a series late in the year, right? That's absolutely awesome. Anyways, on the bump, we do have Hunter Brown. He's going up against Brian Wu. Now, obviously, both these pitchers are pretty damn good, right? I think that goes without saying. Brian Wu has definitely proved a lot of people that he is a really good pitcher this season, and Hunter Brown has been a good pitcher. Where I kind of come out on this one is honestly looking at what that Astros team did against Texas in a really crucial situation, and I have to respect it. I like the Astros again here. This Seattle team has won 9 of their last 10 games, so don't get me wrong. If you like Seattle today for, the price, it's essentially a pick 'em right now. I'm not going to argue you. Where I do think that we have a good look and what I'm more likely to pull the trigger on myself would be the first 5 under 4.5. You have 2 really good pitchers on the bump. This should feel, for all intents and purposes, this should feel like a legitimate playoff matchup at first pitch. And I like the idea of pitchers being a little bit more locked in. Don't mind the idea of the nerfy either, but you're kind of just rolling the dice there because the batters might be as excited and you have a little bit less margin for error, right? So I like the Astros because they've clutched up recently, but I totally get it if someone's going to sit there and be like, nah, I don't know. Mariners, this could be a good spot for them. Like, they've been playing really really good baseball. I'm excited for this. Like, I love that we just had that series with Texas against the Astros, and now we're just right smack dab in an even more situation, a more important situation. That's awesome. All right, Rockies taking on the Angels. Mitch Ferris going up against Bradley Blaylock. I don't even have a graphic for my plays in this one because we haven't spent too much time, whether it was last night, this morning, and I don't anticipate throughout the day spending too much more time on this game. I guess I would say Rockies because you're getting plus money and they're at home and they're staying at home after our last series. Whatever, that would be where I lean towards the Rockies, but I can almost guarantee you right now, crazier things have happened, that's why you keep an eye on the final plays. I can almost guarantee you we don't have anything coming out in this game. Cardinals taking on the Brewers. Looks like we're gonna have Sonny Gray on the bump going up against Jacob Miso Soup Misarowski. Sonny Gray has had a good year. I mean, he has some blemishes out there. I guess you could even say the same thing about Misarowski in terms of missing some time and then all that jazz. I do think that we have some value on this Brewers side of things. They are by far and away the better offense. I don't think that this Cardinals offense is kind of firing on all cylinders right now, so I lean towards the Brew Crew, but I don't mind the idea of a nerfy. Sonny Gray, 70% of his starts so far at home this season, he's hit that nerfy, and then Jacob Misarowski should be humming fastball in there, and this is a team that does struggle against the fastball, 29th in the last 30 days hitting it. So yeah, I mean, we have a St. Louis offense that I don't really trust, a pitcher that is very good. Yes, he's still young, and he started really hot and then maybe flattened a little bit, but still obviously very good pitcher. Don't mind the idea of the nerfy, but again, I think you're getting some good value on the Brewers today in essentially a pick'em for the team that has the way better offense. So we'll see what we end up rolling with there. I think late in the game we could see, this St. Louis bullpen get tagged up a little bit. Arizona taking on Philadelphia. Ryan Nelson on the bump for Arizona, going up against Walker Buehler here. At least that's who's listed for Philadelphia as the primary starter. They might throw someone to open up the game, but nonetheless, Walker Buehler, and as we know, Walker Buehler I don't think is all that great. He was on the Red Sox earlier this year. Now in his first, I want to say he had one start with the Phillies? I could be wrong there. Didn't look all that terrible, right? So sure, maybe he can pitch fairly well, but at the same time, I do think that this Arizona offense is still legit. Yes, they're coming off of a one-run game against San Francisco, but before that, it was 6-8, 6-5, 8-5. In there was at 6 games before, so that's obviously pretty legit. On their side, Ryan Nelson, I mentioned it, obviously a good pitcher and a guy that we've actually backed plenty of times this year, but I think the Phillies, their offense is a little bit of a different beast right now, and they scored 0 runs a couple days ago. You think that they're ready and rearing to go, so I do like the Phillies team total over. I also don't mind Walker Buehler getting hit a little bit here either. Neither one of these bullpens is all that amazing. I mean, yes, you have Duran on the Phillies side of things, but if they need some long relief and stuff like that, that's where you lose me. So I do like the Phillies, the main team, to go out there and score, but I don't mind that over 9.5. I think we could see a decent amount of runs today. Our last game on the board, we got the Dodgers taking on the Giants. Good pitching matchup, and even better pitching matchup if we looked at it years ago, but we have Clayton Kershaw against Robbie Ray. This is a low-scoring one yesterday. Logan Webb finally pitched pretty well against his Dodgers team. It was a 2-1 win for the Dodgers, but again, Webb looked pretty damn good. Now, Robbie Ray has been a little dicey lately. He really has, and he already has one start this year against the Dodgers, and he struggled in that, or 2 starts, but one of which he struggled with. You could say the same thing about Clayton Kershaw, though. Last time he pitched against this Giants team, 3 innings pitched, 4 earned, just 2 strikeouts, 4 walks. Kind of like some runs in this one. I'll lean Dodgers, I think, at home late in the year. Like, that's when this team's going to get a little bit better, but I don't mind the over 8.5. I think that, yeah, we saw, low scoring from them yesterday, but these 2 pitchers are very good. At the same time, if Clayton Kershaw's slider isn't going to be located well, he's going to go to the fastball and the curve. Those are 2 pitches that San Francisco is actually hitting pretty well right now. Flip it over to Robbie Ray. He's going to go fastball, slider. The slider might work, but that fastball, I do think the Dodgers can kind of catch up to today. So, yeah, I don't mind an over here, as much as it might be a little crazy with the 2 starting pitchers that are on the mound. But, guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Really do appreciate everyone tuning in to the baseball videos, to the NFL videos, to obviously H2H, the show that I do with Tassos. You guys are checking out their videos in terms of Tassos and Trey on the channel. You guys have absolutely been crushing it, and that does not go unnoticed. So thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.